course, when I'm gonna do something really big, I have some limited internet bandwidth. So hopefully this is streaming okay. This is pretty big. Not wearing headphones because there's not really anything to listen to. We could if we want. I'll plug a guitar in. We can take a look. It's been a lot of videos about NAMM A2. Lau Gibson did a pretty good one. What I didn't see is actual CPU use comparisons. And okay, I want to show what I'm doing, but this is actually for a product that isn't out yet. It's going to be pretty exciting in itself, but you know, the more important thing is what this new NAMM means to us guitar players, bass players, potentially other nonlinear transfer functions, you know, maybe compressors, distortion pedals, of course. We shall see. So I'm not sure if I need to zoom in. I don't know if you can see this. The important thing right here is going to be this number right here. Maybe let me see if I can't just zoom in on that, because that's really what's going to matter. What do you call it? What is that going to be? That is right monitor. Yeah. Oop. Big room camera's on, which it doesn't need to be. I'll turn that off. Sorry. Right monitor. I want to return it back to this when I'm done, but so for now. So what we're really looking at here is this this number right here. Hopefully you can see that. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit more. Give me a second. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Right now it says 1.5, 1.6. That's what's going to matter. So I'm going to turn this down. I'm just going to be using the Tone 3K sweep file that we use to make these NAMM captures and stuff. You know, not super pleasant to listen to, but it's how it trains it, right? So that's where we are. We're gonna do some testing. So I've got just gonna have a couple plugins running. Get rid of the ones I don't need. And so we're looking at 0.01%. That's just the track sitting there. I could put it on live input mode. Probably be about the same. Maybe that's what we should do, because that's gonna be more accurate. Then again, it's got nothing to process but noise if we do that. I'll just play this. That's what we'll use for the file. And I'm going to turn down the thing so it doesn't just sound like crazy nonsense. Loop it, and I'm going to let it play. Let's just do this chunk right here where we know it's going to have some audio. You're seeing 0.01%. That's what it's taken to play this track. So what does that mean? Though you could do 100,000 tracks at once. That's what the CPU use is doing. All right. So remember, remind me, I got to put my my right monitor back to the correct size, because this is definitely not going to be right. What do we got? All right, so let's go. Let's kind of. I'm first gonna take the same amp. We're gonna compare it in Tonex. So here's Tonex. Sure, I got the right amp going. We're gonna hear some grossness for a second. Okay, there's Tonex. So what do we hit around 0.33% at the height here? Okay. That's annoying. I'm sorry. All right, so 0.33%. Take Tonex off. And just get a baseline. Pull up. So this is an amp file. This is going to be all the same amp. This is a NAM file of the exact same amp. Same capture process, everything basically. All right. I'm just capturing Tonex, okay? I know there's going to be slight differences in a different amp capture, but this can be close enough. So here's our baseline. This is the original NAM. NAM 1.0, A1, whatever. It's not NAM 1.0, but maybe, I don't know if they call it A1. Okay. So, so this is NAM A1. What do we see? A peak there, 1.5 about. Listen to it again. So it's the same amp. Okay, so we got 1.5 there. That's NAM A1 original. Now, there's a chance that this particular plugin is not running the A2 properly. We're going to do some null tests in a second, but let's just get, I'm just doing CPU tests right now. And I did find out that if we do the training, if you go to Tone 3000, do your amp training at the default or the maximum training time, it makes no difference to the CPU on the recovered file. So keep that in mind. There's no reason for you not to use the max training as far as I can find. So do your training on max. So this is A2 right now. A2 is looking 1.4, 1.3. Maybe it's like a 0.1% less than the original NAM. And again, this plugin may not be optimized for A2 yet, but now I'm going to do A2 Lite, which is the one everybody's talking about. And look at that. So I'm looking at 0.57, 0.59 versus 1.4, 1.3. So we're cutting the CPU use in half, okay? At least. And again, we may not have this. I can't say much about this plugin, but we may not have it optimized for A2 yet. But this is just telling you that this A2 Lite is using like half the CPU as A2 Max. Okay, so let's see some other things. It's kind of known that the gain isn't always exactly right when you capture these things. At least in Tonex, I found that you have to turn. Originally, I think we had to turn the gain up a little bit after capture. Can't remember. NAM again may not be exactly right, so the gains might not be right. But let's just real quick. I'm going to compare. Now that we know the CPU use, anyway, let's do a null test. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna put my my monitor, my video back the way it was before. So give me a second here. Let me see how this looks. Sorry. Okay, so I need to bring in the bottom. Ooh, this is not right. Did I change the Aspect ratio? I hope not. Oh, that looks about right. Okay, so let's do some null tests. All right. Now we got the CPU use down, so let's compare Tonex to NAM A1. So track 2, where's track 1? So track 1 is going to be Tonex. And track 2, I'm going to do NAM A1, or whatever they call the original one. OG NAM. Okay, we're going to compare these two files, and I'm going to flip the phase on one, polarity. There might be some latency differences. I see in Tonex it's showing, ooh, don't look at that. It's showing 7 samples of latency on Tonex, so maybe I should render these first. I'm not sure. Let's just take a look at what we're getting. So I'm going to line these up. I'm just going to render this little section right here. This is how we're going to do our null test here. We're going to render this little section. Glue this. No, apply effects as new take. Alt M, is that right? Then I'm going to bypass the effects. Okay. That was supposed to be mono. Oh, whoa, look here. What's going on? We lost our clicks. That's not good. All right. That's our first victim right there. Why did we lose our clicks? That's interesting. Interesting. One second. I'm just going to take a picture for our programmer here. Okay, so that's very interesting. Why do we lose our clicks right there? As I was looking to see if there's a noise gate, could have something to do with the way the cabinets are working. But it's gonna make me very hard to line up if I'm missing my clicks. That's really interesting. So this is why we do this stuff. You end up with stuff you didn't expect. I'm gonna turn these both mono. Easier to deal with. But it looks like I can tell from, yeah, look, this squiggly didn't get lost. Okay, there you go. Look at the latency. All right, you see that? That is gonna throw off our test results by quite a lot. So let me see if I can't get these lined up a little bit better. You see, they do look different. So I'm not positive what we're gonna get here, but I'm finding me a spike. That's pretty close. Okay, let's get these levels down. Oh, let's first of all turn all the effects off. Okay, so what are we getting? Minus 28. I don't know that I have this right. Let's look at these levels. Okay, first of all. Okay, so looking pretty close. Why can't I see this meter? Is there any way to make this meter wider so I can tell what this is? Yeah, let's just go here. real short section. Okay, minus 27.3, so I'm going to change the other one to match that. This is a little bit louder. 26.2. Got to go down by 1/10. Okay, so that's about matched. So let's take a look. And again, we may have trouble comparing the Tonex. Minus 28. I couldn't, when I was playing my guitar, I can't really tell the difference between them, but you know. Oh, okay. So let's just try A1 or OG NAMM versus A2. I'll put this file back the way it was. Turn both of these to unity gain. I'm gonna put, so for the top, I'm gonna put NAMM OG. Just making sure I got the settings the same here. And the bottom one, I'm gonna put NAMM A2 max. Oh, you know what? I might not have the right cabinet on there. Okay, we're gonna fix that too. Oops. So it's gonna be A2 full, and let me make sure I got the right cabinets. Looks right. Take a look at what we get here. These should be at the same time here. Interesting that I didn't render the click, you know. So these guys are at the proper time together, so we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I'm really wondering about these clicks here. Let's see if this hears it. It barely goes. Okay, so we're missing a Dirac. Ooh, I think I know why we're missing that. Yeah, yep. Okay. Okay. The reason we're not rendering these spikes is not a bug in this plugin. It's exactly what it's supposed to do, and that's to protect people who work very hard to make something very cool for you guys. And yeah, so this not having that spike is a feature, not a bug. Okay, sorry. There we go. All right. So here we are. This is OG NAMM versus A2. Okay, and there's a slight difference in volume here. 0.8 dB. Let me pull that down. And you know, for all I know, there is a problem in timing as well. We don't know. Okay, so I'm getting around. This is the difference. This hash that we're hearing. Maybe I'll turn this up for you. You can hear a little bit of information in there. I'm going to turn on span. Supposedly the aliasing is, anti-aliasing is a lot better in A2 than A1. I'm not seeing anything up here though. But this is that harsh zone where you might have some trouble with the aliasing. Actually, I've seen some interesting things I didn't expect to see here. Should we give this a short? Yeah, I'm just gonna glue this real quick. Let's just see if there's actually gonna be a phase issue here or a timing issue. G. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Apply track effects as new take mono output. Okay. Test tone detected. Yeah, interesting. Okay. 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 Interesting. But that's what it's supposed to do, so that's good. Okay, let's see. Is there going to be a difference in render time? Slightly different. Now, is that, look at this. That's a difference in this waveform. I don't know if you guys can see this stuff. I'm going to make this bigger. Why did that do that? So this is A2 right here. This is the original. Does it matter? I don't know. Where do they cross over? Okay, these are crossing at different times. Does that mean that there's a render time discrepancy, or is something else happening here? So when I play my guitar, I can't tell the difference between these two things. Definitely hearing sound. Make sure I'm getting these levels right. Let me get just a short little chunk here. Okay, minus 34.4. And that's 35.8. Okay, let me turn this up. Still a little bit quieter. Yes, this is pretty close. Okay. Now we're down in the minus 40s. So probably not going to hear any difference there. Let's compare A2 and A1, or sorry, A2 full and A2 full. A2 full and A2 light. Okay, there we go. Spit it out. Bring the original file back. I'm going to return these to their original sizes. Let's put the top is going to be A2 light. And the bottom is going to be A2 full. Okay. For levels. It's like a 2 dB difference. 3. No, sorry, not 2 dB, like 0.2. I'm going to turn the A2 light down by 0.3 dB. And we are at about minus 43. And again, we don't know if the time is aligned perfectly, but here's the difference. Okay, so I've provided the numbers. I always complain that these guys never actually show numbers. They just blab. So you know what? Just because we can, let's compare some stuff. So I'm gonna put the original Tonex in here. And again, I don't like listening tests. You know, I don't mind listening tests at the end, but you know, at first you better check the numbers if you can first before you do anything else. Yeah, there's a little bit of noise here. I'm sorry about that. These are just noisy amps. Really a lot of saturation going on here. The original amp. Tonex is going to be a little bit louder, but let's compare that with the original NAMM. And I'm checking for gain, you know. Check Tonex for the same kind of gain. You know, the way I tell gain is artificial harmonics. Let's go back to OG NAMM. Okay, so let's check the A2. This is at full resolution. OG NAMM. Back to A2 NAMM. And just so you know, it seems like you said, the max training doesn't take any more CPU than the default, but here's the default training of A2. I don't really hear any difference there either. Let's go back to A2 max. And so here's light. That was full. Here's light. This is the one that's going to take half the CPU or less, actually. Seems like the same amount of gain. Let me compare it to Tonex real quick. All seem like the same amount of noise too, don't they? I mean, I want to be a snob and say I have to use the full A2, but I don't know. Light sounds fine. I mean, it's still light years ahead of what we had anyway back in the day, right? Yeah, I don't know. A2 Lite seems fine to me. Probably a lot of these hardware devices, Valtons and stuff, are gonna have probably what they're gonna use. You know, they're using the stripped down one with the sample rate problems for some of these devices, but A2 Lite's not eating much CPU. I mean, point whatever percent of a 7-year-old computer, which wasn't even the fastest computer at its time back in when it came out. So, yeah, this A2 thing, it was not a small announcement. This is way, 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 way better CPU use. Let me see. I'm check with my programmer real quick. Good. All right, so that's what we know so far. I could probably get a better null test one, but I don't know. This is the super light version. That's and just to really torture some of you tortured souls, I did get a capture of my favorite Bias FX amp. I know you guys hate me for this. I don't care. So I'm gonna put thing that's clicking. What's that clicking? Put my what I used to pair with that amp all the time. I'm gonna put this impulse in. So here's Bias FX. Sounds like the volume needs to be higher for this one. And I know a lot of people hated this tone. But it's not very noisy, is it? I really like this sound. I know. Let me throw the other impulse in it and see if you guys like that better. I really need to throw a old people cabinet in there. Let me see if I can find one. Feedback. Yeah, here we go. Right from Celestion themselves. I just saw a picture of Big Island Mike driving around with Matt Hoffman, so of course that song comes to mind. Okay, so anyway, be prepared. Any amp you want in half a percent of CPU from an old computer. Pretty exciting times, man. I mean, you can get stuck in the 70s, but there's gonna be any amp, any cabinet, any distortion pedal, all you want, EQs, whatever, and it's gonna fit in the tiniest little thing, and that's gonna be the exact transfer function. If you care what your audience hears, this is now you can give them exactly what it was you wanted out of the studio, and you can do that live. So we're going to make that happen in a couple ways, but you know, we're not the only ones. There's other companies out there that are going to have hardware NAMM pedals and things. I'm not saying we're going to have a hardware NAMM pedal, but we're going to have something very close, and that software coming out hopefully in the next couple of weeks, maybe. It's been a long time we've been working on this, and anyway, I We got a early show today, so I got to be out of here. I'd rather sit around and play with this stuff all day because, man, this is exciting. But see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.